Welcome to season 4 of the Leadership on the Rocks podcast. As we kick off 2025, I want to celebrate you, our incredible listeners, for investing in your personal development and growth. In the Leadership on the Rocks community, we're all about equipping you with practical leadership skills, empowering you with purpose, and you guessed it, we're helping you make a meaningful impact at work and at home. Now, this season, we'll guide you to create harmony between your professional and personal lives like we always have, but we want you to really step into 2025 and lead with confidence, clarity, and resilience, no matter where you are. Now, if you're ready to take your growth to the next level, let's connect. I offer personalized leadership coaching and team training designed to unlock your potential and elevate your impact. And I do it by teaching you how to build your life and leadership on the rocks. So visit leadershipontherocks.com to schedule your free 30-minute discovery call today. And let's make this your best season of leadership yet. Let's dive into the new season.
But like this moment of this day, we'll never get it back again ever. Hold on, let me let that marinate with you a little bit. This moment of this day, we will never get it back again ever. And so what that means to me is that like each moment of each day is important, y'all. It's important that you go get it each moment of each day and that you're intentional about what you're doing, because once it's over, it's over.
This is the Leadership on the Rocks podcast, where we equip and empower leaders like you to thrive in and create harmony between your professional and personal lives. I'm your host, Bethany Reese, and in today's episode, we're going to be talking with Chip Baker about how to live, learn, serve, inspire, and to go get it. Chip Baker is a fourth-generation educator. He's been a teacher and a coach for over 25 years, and he's a multiple-time best-selling author, 22 books to be exact. He's a YouTuber, podcaster, and transformational speaker. And Chip Baker is the creator of the YouTube channel and podcast, Chip Baker, The Success Chronicles, where he interviews people from all walks of life and shares their stories for positive inspiration and motivation. He is all about that life mantra of live, learn, serve, inspire, go get it. Welcome to the Leadership on the Rocks podcast, Chip. I am so excited to have you.
Let's go.
And so you are Mr. Go Get It. You know, I love it.
Yeah, I try to live that. You know, I don't just say that. I really strive to live that and exhibit those traits, you know.
I believe it. And sir, I got to be honest, that's why you're here. You know, we are starting a brand new year off. Everybody has the best of intentions with those resolutions. And I just needed you here to come give us a dose of that, you know, a shot, if you will, of inspiration, of encouragement so that we can keep going. So first off, can you just tell us a little bit about yourselves? Let us get to know you a little bit. And I know what makes you so amazing because I'm getting to know you. And we actually have run in some similar circles. So I've even heard a lot about you. But tell the people out there about you.
Well, first, I just want to say thank you so much for the opportunity to be on your show and be the first for the year. Man, I consider that an honor and a privilege, and I'm your guy.
But, I know it.
But I am Chip Baker. I'm a fourth generation educator, like you said, teacher, former coach. Been blessed and fortunate to be raised by some great people as well as be around some awesome folks in my career. To show me some really neat things, to help me learn and grow. About 8 years ago, like you said, I started my YouTube channel and podcast, The Success Chronicles. And what I do is I just interview people from all walks of life and share their stories for positive inspiration and motivation. That journey has been truly amazing, really far surpassed anything I ever thought it would be. You know, like I can text with my favorite author or, you know, people that we've seen on TV or play in the NFL, you know, I've interviewed them and people that musically listen to, you know, like some of those people. And it's crazy, you know, for a guy, you know, coming from a small town in Texas. I'm originally from Hearne, Texas, but it's just, I'm just grateful for that. And then about 6 years ago, started writing books, like you said, and to the date have published 22 of those. And that part always stumps me a little bit. Because where I'm from, like I didn't grow up around people that wrote books. you know. So like when I speak, I tell people like a real book. Like you open it up and it's like a real ISBN number and like a real book, real books. And so man, it just the whole journey, it just does two things for me. It allows me to remain humble because I know my beginnings, I know where I come from, I know what's been poured into me my whole life. But then also it allows me to be hungry, right? Because it shows me that greater is, you know, greater is to come and can be. And so I'm just hungry to continue to uh, grow to be the best version of myself, but not be the best version of myself for me, but be the best version of myself so that I can give the best version of myself to others. And really,
Oh,
that's what it's about for me.
oh, I love it. That's so good. And,
Yeah.
I love the Success Chronicles because you're always asking people about their journey. Where did you
Hmm.
start? And then where have you ended up? What have you accomplished? And what are you most proud of? And
Yes.
I love that for the fact of that just testimony of it doesn't matter where you start. And in all the lessons that you're learning from the ups, downs, and all the things that you
Yes.
go through, to then be able to look back and say, you know what, I have accomplished some things, and here's what I'm proud of. And it
Hmm.
shows. I mean, after what you said, 7 years of this, think
Yeah.
about the stories that are out there that can identify the other people the listeners can identify with to say, hey, they have a similar story as I have. And whenever you connect with someone with a similar story, it just inspires you to like, I can
Yes.
go do things too.
So true. I mean, it just shows you that and you and I think, are similar and we were raised in small towns.
Hmm.
But we have also had the privilege to be around some great people and do some big things in big places, you
Yeah.
know. And so it's so exciting that when you reflect on that journey, like it's encouraging to yourself, you know, because you show yourself that you're capable of doing pretty cool things. Uh,
Absolutely.
but then also like I said, it just allows us to strive to do more because we see that more is capable.
Hmm. I love it. I love the inspiration that you have. And I follow you on social media and I just see
Hmm.
all the groups of people from adults to the kids to the
Yeah,
teams that you're talking to and
yeah.
inspiring. And so that's really why I wanted to have you on this podcast so badly, especially to start off our year, because at the beginning of the year, everybody is starting those resolutions and we're so
Hmm.
hopeful. We're so hopeful of what the new year can bring. And I really, whether it be better health or better
Hmm.
relationships, better financial status, we're all hopeful about new things. But how can we be intentional to live out the mantra that you so well pour out into the world to live, to learn, to serve, to inspire,
Yeah,
and honestly, at the end of the day, take action and go get it? Like,
yeah.
how can we live that out?
It's funny. That is the tagline of my YouTube channel and my tagline of what I do. And every time I hear that, it gives me chills. Like just hearing you say that, I had chills just hearing it because each one of those words means something to me. I
Mhm.
think the first is live, right? We have to live a life where we live, stretch ourselves, push our limits, don't be stagnant, ooh, get comfortable with being uncomfortable,
Oh, yeah.
right? And so we have to stretch ourselves, and when we allow ourselves to do that, we live in a manner that is conducive to growth. We live in a manner that allows big things to happen, like we explained that we have been, blessed to achieve. And along that journey, when we live in that manner, we learn, right? We learn so many things. We learn so much about the world, but more importantly, we learn so much about ourselves.
Oh, that is true.
And that's where it gets good, right?
Yeah.
Because when you can allow yourself to focus in and, man, take the things that you've learned, the blessings from the lessons, if you will, and then use those to serve. That's where the comes in. Use those to be a blessing to others. That's when it really gets good because you're in a space to where you've seen that your journey is not in vain. Like the trials and tribulations that you've been through have not just been for you,
Oh,
right? I'm gonna just say it. It ain't just for you. It ain't just
Hmm.
about you, right? It's bigger than us. And so when we get to that space where we're serving others, um, you know, people see the things that you're growing through. Hold on, let me give you that one again.
I need you to tell me
Hold
that
on,
again because I'm
hold
used
on.
to hearing things that
Hey,
you're going through. So say that one more time
come
for us,
on, come
sir.
on. So people see the things that you're growing through.
Yes.
And what I mean by that is none of us are immune from growing through tough challenges and tough things in our life. I don't care who you are, and you're gonna have some tough things happen to you, but
Hmm.
how are you gonna handle those tough things?
Hmm.
Right? How are you going to respond to those tough things? And so, how you respond to those things determine your level of success, determine your level of inspiration, determines your level of legacy, if you will, on the other end of that. And what happens is people see that and it's inspiring, right? Inspire. That's where that comes in. And so that's the great part, which I think the inspiration piece is tied to legacy. And
Hmm.
the way we do all of those things that I discussed with you is, having a go get it mindset. You know, great things, significant success will not come to us. We have to go get it and make it happen. And when we do those things, it allows us to live, learn, serve, and inspire.
That's awesome. Action is
Yeah.
required
Come on.
at the end of it.
Yeah, come on.
Man, there's so much. I just feel like I could talk to you forever on each one of those.
Yeah,
To
yeah.
live, to be active, not be passive in our
Hmm.
lives, but it doesn't matter where you're at, what you're going through, growing through. I'm going to
Yeah.
start using that instead of
Use
saying
it.
going through. I love it.
Yep. Yep.
You know, but to live your life, to be present, to be active, to learn through that. And that's something we talk about on this podcast all the time is perfection's not possible. It is about progress, and how you make
Yes.
progress is you learn the lesson.
Yep.
Um, and so I want to dive into the serve one as we think about
Hmm.
this new year. People are making resolutions.
Yeah.
And the verb part of that, to be resolved, is to make a strong decision of action. I am
Mm.
going to do this.
Yeah.
And then now comes my confession part. I will make that resolution. I will be resolute in doing something until the first challenge comes, and then I'm not
Yeah.
so resolute. I that action, that determination kind of dies off. And
Yeah.
so I guess my first question before we dive into all of that is, how do we make it through those obstacles? And then we'll talk about service, but how do we make it through those obstacles to where we can stay resolute with our
Mm.
resolutions?
Just hearing you describe that, I think it makes me think about our values. It makes me think about our core common principles, right? And I'll just tell you, just me personally, like I'm not a gung ho person about New Year's resolutions,
Mhm.
right? Like I don't get like caught like, and I'm okay, like I'm not knocking anything, but just me personally, how I operate, um, like I don't get now I set goals for sure and those kind of things, but like just to have a whole like change things up, whole new, like no, I don't do that. What I do is I'm intentional every day. Like like every moment of every day, I'm intentional about my actions. And so what I've done in my life is I've learned that there are things that are important to me, people, stuff, service, like it's important to
Mhm.
me. And I've decided in my life that out of those 10 things, that's what I want to do with the rest of my life. And if
Oh,
there's anything out of that, I'm not gonna spend my time on it. Right. And so I'm gonna be intentional each moment of each day. And so some examples of those are, faith, family, uh, you know, uh, personal development, striving to be the glue in every situation.
mhm.
Like those things I strive to work on, and I'm intentional each day about that, on working to be the best version of myself at that. So, like for example, what I do is reflection time is important. So at the end of the day, each day I reflect. How was I in these categories? Right? How did I do today on this? Like Chip, that was pretty good. Ooh, you blew that. You need to be better at that. And so I reflect, and then tomorrow, boom, I hit the ground running on those things that I need, build on my strengths,
Mhm.
but strive to develop those weaknesses. And when I continue to do that on a day-to-day basis, it allows me to have continued growth. And I get to a week and I can look back and be proud of what I've accomplished. Right.
Man.
And then I get to a month and I can look back and be proud of what I've accomplished. Then I can get to months into a year. I can look back and be proud on what I've accomplished. And then I do that for years. And then I can look back and be proud of what I've accomplished. But what it allows me to do is once, and I call it the SHG principle: show up, have a great attitude, give your all. If I can do that every day, what happens is when I get to go visit the big man, come on, you know what I'm talking about.
Uh-huh,
When I get to
absolutely.
go visit the big man, what it allowed me to do is not just have left a legacy, but it will have allowed me to live a legacy by my day-to-day actions.
Absolutely. And you're going to hear good done, well, and
Well
or well
done.
done,
Yep.
good and faithful
Hmm.
servant. I mean,
Yep.
totally. Yeah.
That's the goal.
Yeah. I feel like you're calling me to the carpet. Me and probably a lot of listeners, you were talking about, and it's not whether or not you have resolutions or don't have resolutions. It's bigger than that. You talked about day-to-day intentions, being
Yes.
intentional and living your life
Hmm.
and not waiting for that circumstance. So many, I know I do, I'm thinking about the new year and setting, goals or resolutions. And yet I think the essence behind that is I'm waiting for a fresh start. If I just had a new year, if I just had a new situation, a
Yeah.
new something to
Yeah.
start fresh, this is what I'm going to do. When the
That's good.
reality is, I'm not living that out right now in my day to day life. And that's why I probably crash and burn so much in those areas. And I feel like you just called me to the carpet on that and saying, hey, start today, every day.
Yeah.
What are your intentions? What are your values? What are those goals? Goals are still important, but you got to have the habits to reach them. And
Right.
it's a day to day thing. And I love it.
Right.
See, thank you. You're already, like I said, calling me to the carpet saying, hey, rethink how you're doing this whole new year thing. Love
Well,
it.
that wasn't my intentions. I don't want to
No,
step
I
on
think it's
any
good.
toes.
I think
But
that's where the Holy Spirit led it.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
so
yeah, for
often
sure.
we are just the vehicle of just saying, hey,
No
here's my
doubt.
experience, the way I think
No
about it. And
doubt.
then the Holy
Yeah,
Spirit
no
will just
doubt.
come in and say, hey, for you, this is your message.
Yeah,
So
so
that's what
so
just
true. So true.
Man, and I want to really pour into now thinking of service
Hmm.
because so much of our goals can really be very focused. We want to lose weight,
Hmm.
we want a new job, we want to run
Right,
that 5K or that marathon or whatever. It's all about me, myself, and I.
right.
We're really good at being selfish. How can we approach this year and just our day-to-day life, shrinking it? I love it. Not even talking about the year, every day in
Hmm.
a more selfless way of focusing on serving others. How can we do that?
I think it's a shift in mindset, or more so a shift in heart set, if you
Oh,
will. You know, I just think when we operate in a manner of striving, well, first off, understanding that I have value to add to every situation, but then taking it further to strive to add value to every situation that I'm in, right?
mm,
So in every situation that I'm in, I want to, just help and just do my part and, give what I can give from my little bank of givingness that I have. you know, I just want to help. And so I think if we can operate in that manner, I think first off, people see that your heart is of pure intentions, right? Because
mm,
I'm doing it, I'm gonna make some mistakes. Like I'm not
yeah.
perfect. I'm gonna make some mistakes. I'm gonna fall short. I know that. But my intentions are not of that. My intentions are to give you
Mm,
my all. My intentions are to give you my everything in every situation. And I think that we can focus in on just striving to help, just striving to be of service to others. It's crazy how humongous things happen for you when you do that. And like,
mm.
I know I'm kind of whispering now because I'm still shocked, right? In my life. Man, it's crazy. Like some big things have happened for me because like I've just strived to help. And I'll just tell you, like, for example, in all of the stuff that I told you that I've done, books, YouTube, speaking, traveling, the biggest people that have supported me have been the people that I poured into a long time ago. And when I strive to help and pour into them, I wasn't doing it to say, hey, I'm gonna help this person, this kid because he's eventually going to become a manager at this restaurant and help my son get a job, right?
Hmm.
I'm like, I didn't do it to say, I'm helping these people so that I can get the results for this later. No, it was none of that. The intentions were just help. Like whatever little value I have, just give that. And I'm telling you, it's crazy. Like so many great things will happen to you and people will look out for you and give you opportunities. And I say this, opportunities bring opportunities. Anytime you
Hmm.
have an opportunity to give and help and serve, it's gonna come back to you. You don't have to worry about it. Like it's gonna come back to you for sure.
Yeah. And I love it. Yeah. And just in thinking about getting out of your own way, if you can
Yes.
just die to selfish intentions and just look at a
Yes.
situation, not what can I get out of this for me, but how can I pour into others?
Hmm.
And whenever you get out of your way, I mean, it magnifies tenfold. It just
Big
grows and
time.
grows and grows and becomes that abundance that we all seek and want to be a part of. But it requires us getting out of our own ways. I know for me it does. I love
Yeah.
it. It's so, so good. And in thinking about serving and then the inspiration piece that is next, I loved what you said. You automatically know you're not going to do things perfect, but your intentions are true. Oh, number one, what a freeing feeling that is to know that you're not playing a game. You don't have to keep up with scores, because it's not a
Oh,
competition.
you're
I
right.
think the freedom of that alone, but you're serving, and then it just automatically becomes an inspiration when you have an obstacle you're going through, or when you fail, or when you do something maybe not of your best. How you
Hmm.
walk through that hardship or that obstacle or that failure is such an
Yeah.
inspiration to others. Number one, the authenticity of it, of hey, my bad, I did not do that well. Hey, here's the lesson I've learned
Yeah.
from it. The
Yeah.
transparency of that, I think that alone is so inspirational. And that's where I just love, if you even go back to the deep hits on the Success Chronicles track on YouTube, right? Go back to the beginning of where you started and having those conversations. Like I can see the growth of you as
Hmm.
as the producer of those, but the heart is the same today as it was day one. And y'all, I just want to throw out there, he just interviewed John Gordon, the energy bus, the leader or how to lead positive teams. Like the John Gordon. Like you're interviewing some amazing people, but your heart with him, who is like a celebrity in the leadership world, is the same as interviews number one, two, and three on the Success Chronicles. And I love that. The humility of it, the pureness of that is always there. And I think it's so inspirational.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you saying that. And I really appreciate you noticing that too. Uh, because that means that it's important to you. And so
Mm-hmm.
like for me, you're exactly right. Like that's my intentions. Like my intentions are to serve whoever you are, John Gordon, Miss admin assist, whoever you are. And that's, even with my platform, like people ask me, they've said like, man, like who do you what's the criteria, man, for you to like will they talk to me? Like well, let's do it. Like,
Let's
like for
go.
me, like I'm not, yeah, let's go get it, baby. I'm not saying like, oh, they have to have these followers and they have
Mm-hmm.
to do this for me to try to interview them. No, man, I think we can learn from everybody, right? I think everyone has, ooh, this is good. I'm gonna take you to Vacation Bible School on this
Oh,
one.
love it.
Red and yellow, black and white. They are precious in His sight. Jesus loves the little children of the world, and so
Oh,
that means that every one of us are precious in His sight. Every one of us
mm-hmm.
has value, and every one of us adds value. And so for
Oh,
me, I see it in that manner, and I just strive to, and just learn from whoever I can learn from, because I believe that when we pass that on, it'll be a blessing to someone.
mm-hmm. And going back to what you said earlier, you said it's a mindset,
Yeah.
and even more than a mindset, it's a
The
posture
heart
of your
set.
heart set.
Hmm.
Oh, I love that. And I had to say it again because I want people to hear that again.
Yeah.
It's not just how
Yeah.
you're thinking about it. It's the heart of how you value people, how you value
Hmm.
everybody you engage with. And so as you think about this year, guys, going into this year, whatever goals you have, what's your heart posture?
Hmm.
Don't just have your goals. And speaking of, vision, goals, they're so important to have those things. But if
Yeah.
you don't have the right heart posture and then you don't have action to follow that, you know, how much of an impact are you really going to have? So it's about
Right.
having the right heart posture, but then you got to have the, go get it afterwards. So can you just pour into us and say, how can we have that action to go get it?
Yeah, I mean, you can have all of those things. You can have the knowledge. Um, knowledge is power, if you use it
Oh,
the right way. you know, like, and I'll share this example for you. So here recently, this is good. We had a storm that came through Beryl, right?
mm-hmm.
And so power was out for a long time in our area. And I'm no electrician. I don't do, I just know light switch, right? I don't know, I don't positive, I don't know, y'all. But, there's one of our neighbors, a couple houses down, he had done some electric work and all those kind of things. So he had his house connected to the generator, right? The generator connected to the box, and which
Mm-hmm.
runs the box. And so now you can use the lights and everything in the house from the generator, and it's not just a cord running a fan or something like that. And so we went like 3, 4 days without it. We found the generator, connected with him, and he was like, "Hey, I can do that for you at your house." And so the house had power because of the knowledge that he had and the manner in which he gave service to use it to help us. And right,
Wow.
I use that example because we have to put in the actions. Like, we can have all the knowledge, we can know all of these things, but we have to take the proper steps
Mm-hmm.
to give service and do the right things to help others. And when we do that, it's so powerful, right? It's so helpful. It causes, like, my big thing right now in the moment is legacy, right?
Oh,
It allows you to live and leave a legacy of that. So my son saw that. So now my son's interested. Man, how do you do that, right? What's the knowledge? How so, like, just things like that. It's important for us to take the proper actions and be
mm-hmm.
intentional with our actions as well, right? Um, the other thing that comes up for me is like the currency, the currency of time. They print money, right? They'll make more money. Like, we can do things to make more money, but like this moment of this day, we'll never get it back again ever.
Mm.
Hold on,
Yeah.
let me let that marinate with you a little bit.
Yes.
This moment of this day, we will never get it back again ever. And so what that means to me is that, like, each moment of each day is important, y'all. It's important that you go get it each moment of each day, and that you're intentional about what you're doing, because once it's over, it's over.
Mm-hmm.
You can't get it back. And so my goal is to make sure that each of the moments that I'm living are great moments, because magic moments make magic memories.
Oh,
Mm,
oh, that's good. That's good. I just find myself just wanting to like put my hands underneath my chin and just keep listening and like pondering and marinating
yeah,
on
let that
like you have so
marinate.
many one-liners and phrases. I'm
Yeah,
like, I just need to sit with that for a little bit longer.
yeah, so good.
Oh, it is. And I love how you say that in almost everything you do, go get it. And because
Yeah.
we do, we so have this knowing doing gap. In
Hmm.
leadership, I think it runs rampant. We are so um trained in leadership. I would say people are aware of leadership best practices. We have
Hmm.
lots of trainings usually available. Those 1 day trainings that are life changing. I'm totally being facetious. No a presentation never changed anybody's life, but
Yeah.
we know a lot about leadership. Just generally speaking, I'm making a huge generalization. But do we go and apply what we know? Do we go and build relationships? Do we
That part.
respond instead of react? Are we proactive to mitigate versus reacting to everything and putting out fires all the time? And the answer is no. We know it whenever we sit in those professional development classes or presentations or anything. We're shaking our head. Yeah, I know this. I know this. Why are they making me come? I know this.
Mhm.
Uh-huh. But are you doing it? Are you going and getting it done? And I think
Yeah.
the answer to a lot of that, just looking at organizations, is no, not
Mhm.
so much. And I love what you're saying is every day, this moment, poof, it is gone. go get it. How are you applying the knowledge that you have so that you can, live, learn, serve, inspire? You got to go get it. Go get it done.
Gotta go get it. You know,
Mm,
there's as I heard you kind of break that down, there was some things that came when you talked about one-liners and things. So I want to share a couple of these just with you. Like you talked about like application, right?
hmm
I always like to say that application is in the application, right? When you apply what you learn, you like really learn on a deeper level so many things. And one of my pastors that I have now, he says, life change happens in the application, right?
Oh,
And so when we apply the things that we learn, like, and we really have like life shift, we really have great things happen. And then you hit on like the relationship piece. And there was a quote that I heard from one of my former pastors. He said, life moves at the speed of our relationships.
oh, say that one
Ooh,
again.
come on. Yeah, I'm gonna give it to I I'm gonna, when I heard it, like I was like,
Yeah.
wow,
Yeah.
life moves at the speed of our relationships. When you
Mm,
think about it, those people that are doing great things, they have great relationships in their life, right? Those people that are not doing so great, they need better relationships. And you talked about the
hmm
leadership aspect. It's
Oh, yeah.
important to, not just say, "Hey guys, apply this," but teach your people how to apply the lessons that you're giving them.
Yeah.
Not just say, "Hey, we want to build relationships, guys," but work on actually getting in the trenches and building those relationships,
Yeah.
right? And then the other thing is, you talked about, the proactive piece. It's important to be proactive and not reactive, right? So when you can think about those things and be intentional ahead of time, it allows you to be proactive because you're going to have things that come up, right? You're going to
hmm
have things that happen as a leader that you didn't plan for.
Oh,
But the
yeah.
more you can be proactive and plan and be intentional about the direction that you're going when you go get it, because you're the driver in that go get it car, right?
hmm
Uh, it allows you to be proactive and not reactive in those situations.
Oh, so good. I call the things that pop up that you weren't expecting rattlesnakes because they hurt like the dickens.
Mhm.
But if you if you don't take action, it can
Yeah,
poison you too, right? And you'll
yeah,
say, this situation, and it can make you bitter or cynical. And,
without a
and
doubt.
yeah, so you really have to lead well through those rattlesnake bites. They're going to come. They just
I
are.
love it.
It's part of leadership. But I love everything that you are pouring out into us this year so we can go get it. So,
Yes.
Mr. Chip Baker, what are some key takeaways for our listeners that they need to apply to grow in their leadership in the year 2025 and beyond?
Yeah, I think the first thing is like what we started off talking about, live, learn, serve, inspire, and go get it. We have to make sure we take intentional actions, be intentional about being intentional, right? Live on purpose with a purpose, all of those things. But I think if we can do that in our life, it will allow us to go get it. And then the other thing is just understanding that it's bigger than you,
Mm. Oh, that's good.
right?
Oh,
We have to get over ourselves um, in order to be able to give with a pure heart.
hmm
And so, just I think in all situations, it's important for us to strive to work on doing that. And so I think if that's our focus, then great things happen because we're focused in the right manner. And we'll
hmm
fall short, we'll make mistakes, but learn in those mistakes and keep it moving,
Man. And you, sir, you are living this out. I mean,
striving to for sure.
25 plus years in education pouring out
Hmm.
into, I mean, if you did a count, I wonder how many thousands of students you have impacted, as well as their families. And then now the bonus added of going and talking to large groups at a time and writing books and the people reading those, like your
Yeah.
impact is completely exponential because you've been
Amen.
faithful and humble in the serving of who can I pour into today. And I think that is a huge takeaway from just being in your presence is seeing your humility and your heart posture for serving others. And
Thank
then
you.
the action of going and getting it. Today, how can I be intentional today to go get it done and to pour into it? And I love it. It's so good. So I always love asking this question because
Mhm.
you have just given us a ton of excellent things to think about, to be intentional on. But sometimes there's just got to be don't do this. You're better than that. So, what is
Yeah.
one poor decision that you would warn our leaders to avoid? Like, don't do this thing. You're better than that.
I think, the thing that comes up for me on that is communication. Um, communication is the bridge to get us to anywhere we want to go in life.
Mhm.
And as a leader, when we can communicate effectively, I think that allows us to show the people by our actions that we do care. Show the people by our actions that we are striving to lead in the correct manner with the best posture that we know how. Right. And
Mhm.
so when we communicate effectively, I think it only helps. And so I think just focusing in on having the best communication and letting people know, and
Mhm.
like when I say communication, the thing that instantly comes up to me is consistency. Right? You think
Ah,
about like the people that we trust the most in our life are the people that are most consistent.
hmm.
Like
True.
like you like my go you know what you're gonna get from Chip Baker. I mean, like I can say that. Like
Yeah.
I can for sure say that because like I'm intentional about working on that. And I've been that way my whole life. Right.
Hmm.
And so, when you communicate in a consistent way, it builds that trust.
Oh, that's
It's
so good. Don't be
important.
a
It's
bad
important.
communicator. Be a
Yeah.
consistent, effective communicator.
Mhm.
And absolutely. And I just want to throw in one thing because it's so obvious nowadays. Fix your face too. That's a communication aspect all in and among itself. I know
Hey,
so many
I
people.
love
I hear your
it.
words,
Thank
but
you.
your face is telling a
Uh,
completely different story.
yeah,
So,
that is
no,
not in alignment right there, brother.
yeah,
That is not showing me. That's
yeah.
not what you just said.
Yeah, your face tell a different story. And
Yeah.
oh, Mr. Baker, where can our listeners go to learn more about you and your work, and where can they go get the Success Chronicles?
Yeah, so all of my social media is Chip Baker TSC, as in the Success Chronicles, except for X, and X is Chip Baker 19. I don't want it, I'm on all platforms. I don't want
Mhm.
to be any excuse for you not to get this positive inspiration and motivation in your life.
That's right.
Right. So on all platforms as Chip Baker TSC. And the big thing, like people ask, like, follow, subscribe, comment, all of those things. Yeah, do that, but bigger than that, if you see something that you like and someone that you love and care about comes to mind, I just ask that you share it with them to help
Mhm.
make their world better.
Awesome. So good. And I'll have links in the show notes. And I love it.
Mhm.
Your website, it's wrote.me/Chip Baker, literally has links
Mhm.
to every social media post. I was like, ooh, I need to take note from you. That is excellent. I
Yeah.
love it. So that'll
Hmm.
be in the show notes, guys. Mr. Baker, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom, your time, and your heart. Greatly appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity and go get it.
That's right. All right, guys, until next time, continue putting in the work of building your life and leadership on the rocks, the essential rocks. God bless. Remember, the most essential rock you can build your life and leadership on is the rock of Jesus Christ. Today's Bible verse comes from Matthew chapter 5 verse 16. In the same way, let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven. Hey, it's Bethany again. If you're enjoying the Leadership on the Rocks podcast, be sure to subscribe and follow so you don't miss a single episode. Also, be sure to rate the show. We hope to earn 5 stars in serving you in leadership, and through your ratings, it'll help us get the word out about what we do here at Leadership on the Rocks. If you feel this podcast is helpful, be sure to share it with your friends, family, and coworkers, or anyone who wants to grow in leadership, but also have harmony between their work and home life. Thanks, and I'll see you again in the next episode.